I'm going to continue with karma, speaking about karma, thinking about it, and trying to apply it to our days. So last time, we talked about how the mind controls our behavior, essentially. And so, over and over, what we experience is related to that. So the Buddha said all of our experience is preceded by the mind, governed by the mind. If one acts, speaks, or thinks with an unwholesome mind, then suffering will follow, just as the wheel of the cart follows the foot of the ox that's pulling it. I've heard these before, but they always are helpful to hear again. And then he also said, all of our experience is preceded by mind, governed by mind. If one acts or speaks or thinks with a wholesome mind, then happiness will follow, just as one's shadow always follows one wherever one goes. And so we can understand those verses, but what I find interesting is that how we have to consistently train ourselves again and again with this view, because in the actual moment it doesn't feel like that at all. In the actual moment, it feels like pleasant, unpleasant, neutral things arise, and the association we make is what happened. We have this small little view, covers, like this small little incident. Think of an incident that you found disturbing. Did it come to your mind right in that moment that it didn't have anything to do with the other person? Not in my mind. Even when I have good intentions and they aren't well received, in fact, then it never comes to my mind. Yeah, so that's why I have to pick this piece of paper up over and over again. You will need to resolve. So this is what I mean by kind of taking the teachings and thinking about what's happening in your day. And so I have some belief in Geshe Sopa's words that when he says that your trust in the actions of karma that governs the mind, that we can come to believe that, because we can't see it. In the moment we can't see it, and that's the difficulty that we have. But we can, with almost everything we experience in our life, we know just things aren't just encapsulated in these small little moments. And when we just expand our mind just a little bit, it takes 3 seconds when your mind's clear to just go, oh, there were so many things that led to this moment. And we know that's true. But we have to bring this logical kind of mind back with a lot of clarity and a lot of force, I think, to combat what we're perceiving in a moment. Remind ourselves that everything we experience is we've created. We are the creator of our experience. That's what it is. So, in that vein, what are we creating? So, the different kind of experiences that we have, they are related to things, our actions of the past, the kind of habits that we have, the kind of rebirth that we have, the fact that we're human beings, that we're not, stink bugs walking around and little cats and all the other. We have so many creatures here at the Abbey right now, raccoons. So here we are, human beings. So we've created the causes for that. That's a little easier for us to, I think, accept in the sense of we have a lot of belief in causality. We just don't have a very long-term view for what that looks like. And so then even our environment is we create our environment in a sense too. I think there's 2 ways they talk about that in Buddhism. Mostly what's easier to wrap your mind around is that the environment we're born into is related to our previous karma. Does that make sense? So if you were, they always say that maybe, I think one of the results is if you're like in a war-torn zone or anything, in a previous life you may have been involved with harming people, even killing or something. So those kind of, what environments you find yourself in. I think there may be a view also related to what our environments are like, but I don't know much about that. I remember Venerable spoke about it once briefly, but I couldn't say too much about that. So, yeah, so what we experience, our karma generally ripens in the feeling component, the pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. So kind of just bringing that all together, again, thinking about it as things come up in your day. When something's pleasant, remembering, oh, this isn't just what I'm seeing here right now. And then train ourselves when something's unpleasant to do the same, and then we can slowly over time, hopefully, get this happening faster and faster to the point where we have very clear, steady minds, and we don't, the afflictions won't be able to have much force, I think, just from the mental set that we carry with us, because the cooperative conditions won't be there for them to have a field day.